Pat Clancy here, author of the book Avoid Tenants from Hell While Increasing Your Profits and Maximising Your Wealth. First chapter is Principle 1, Good Property. If the property is in good, presentable order, you will attract a better quality of tenant. Good properties do attract better tenants, so it is important. It doesn't have to be finished to the highest standard, but it needs to be clean, it needs to be bright, it needs to have good air. I have found that the better the property, the better the tenant. If the property is tired looking, shabby, poor condition, and a place that you would not live in yourself, I mean, that's going to attract the kind of tenant you don't want. So ask yourself, what type of tenant do I want to attract to my property? You need to have colour or neutral colour walls. Usually magnolia or white is what we use. Use pictures to colour out the room. So if you have white walls, get prints. They're cheap enough. You pick them up for 10 or 15 euros. Use prints to colour the wall, use the furniture to colour it, use the carpet to colour it, and curtains. By leaving the walls white and neutral, they're easier to paint afterwards. There's no hassle. It's cheaper to paint. It also makes the place a lot brighter and airier, and you do attract better tenants. What we find is we usually do brown carpets or tiles depending on the room, but with the brown carpets we normally put a fleck in them as well, that it hides the dirt better, plus they're easier to clean as well down the line if there ever is spillages on them. Look, people have different tastes as well, so don't assume that your taste is the taste that they're going to love. Keep everything neutral. Whites, creams, and use the pictures on the wall then to add colour. They can always take them down themselves and put up their own pictures, but you're not offending their taste by making taste your own. Dark colours particularly are out. They make the rooms look very small, so keep it bright, airy, white, magnolia, neutral colours. So just to sum up on that point, know your target tenants, stay with neutral colours, have the place professionally cleaned. That's very important before every tenancy. Make sure all the appliances are in working order. Again, you don't want a tenant moving into a property and next thing they can't work the oven or the electricity isn't turned on in the house, and it just starts the tenancy off on a bad foot, and straight away you're on the back foot then, and you know they're annoyed and they don't want to pay rent, and you know, so you avoid that by making sure all the appliances are working. So the 7 steps to renting a good property: we professionally clean the oven is 1. 2, make sure the fridge is professionally cleaned. 3, you want good sturdy furniture. It doesn't have to be the best of the best, but it needs to be sturdy because there is a lot more wear and tear on furniture in rental properties. Don't put second-hand furniture in there that has been in your house for the last 20 years. That doesn't work anymore. Brown carpets with a fleck or a tile depending on the room. Again, tiles are very easy to clean, no problem. Magnolia or white paint on the walls. Point 6, pictures on the walls to bring out the colour. And 7, you want to dress all the beds as well for renting a property. When tenants are looking at the property and they see the beds dressed, it's more homely for them. Again, keep neutral colours, creams and whites with the bed linen. So just a case study then is a landlord called Peter, a very successful businessman. He owned a lot of rental property. He works long hours at his business, and he found that he was neglecting that to keep up the rents on his properties. Every time a tenant came along with money and just kind of handed him the money, he gave the key. There was no lease agreement in place. He wasn't looking after the property. He wasn't keeping the properties up to date because he was so busy with his business. But what he found then was, because he wasn't looking after his properties, the small jobs that should have been done a long time ago have now spiraled into huge jobs and requires a lot more money. Also, he's attracting a lot poor client or poor tenants, so he was spending a lot more time chasing rents and hassle and doing more jobs. So he just finding it harder and harder to rent out his properties. and wasting a lot of his precious time showing prospective tenants. Thus, then, out of desperation, he's renting the property at a lower rent to the first person who says yes and is happy to have the house occupied. What he was finding after a few weeks is when the tenants move in, they were late with the rent, the bills weren't getting paid, the bins are filling up out the back of the house, and the house needs more jobs that are popping up and need to be done. This all has a knock-on effect. It's just he's on a downward spiral. Peter was finding then that he's now spending more and more of his precious time trying to evict tenants, and when he finally does, the cycle starts over again, because he's not putting money into the house because he doesn't